Hello, hello. Getting me alerts and stuff. Hey, 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 hey. Doo-doo-doo. Let me put the screen behind me, guys. Which one we gonna do first? I wish you could see it better. See, this is why I don't like doing this. Why I want to do the other screen, but I can't. My everything is acting up today. My music acting up. My stand acting up. You can't read what's in back of me. It's all right. We're going to get it together. We're going to get it together. Come on in, you guys. Tap, 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 tap. And share. Share, share, share. We're going to talk about the 4 agreements. I don't know if you guys were watching when you came in, but it was that's what we're talking about. It's a book. It was written by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'm not going to like break the book down, or I'm gonna break the 4 agreements down and what I believe them to be. I'm gonna do them one at a time. The first one is be impeccable with your words. That's the one I'm gonna talk about first. I wanted to play some music for you guys, but I changed my setup around, and in doing so, I didn't hook everything up right, and my son is busy. So we're not gonna have no music. I was just gonna play it until we get more people in. So can you guys tap, 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 tap the screen, share the live if you haven't done so already. The 4 agreements. First, we're gonna talk about be impeccable with your word, and what I believe it to mean, you know, and what I think we can do. And what I think we can do, you know, to get to where we need to be. The whole purpose of this is to transform your life, to become enlightened, right? More in tune. So the 4 agreements, I believe it was written in 1997, 96, 97, one of those. But again, this is not a book review. It's just a kind of breakdown of what the 4 agreements mean to me. And if you have any questions, or you have any response, or, you know, how you feel, that's fine. Place it right there in the comments, and we will talk about it. So as I said before, it was written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's from Toltec wisdom, and that's it's a Mexican culture. So I'm not gonna infringe on anyone's beliefs or anything like that. That's why I'm gonna break it down so what I feel it to believe. You know, don't want to take any chances. Anything get you canceled nowadays, okay? So what the 4 agreements are is be impeccable with your word. That's one. Another one is don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. Always do your best is the last one. And I haven't perfected it, but I am, you know, doing it every day and becoming better and better at doing it every day. But this first one, be impeccable with your word, you can't read it, so I'm gonna read it because I do have it on this other phone. So I'm gonna read the first one off. So be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Hey, speak with integrity. Let me mod you up too. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using words to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Hello, hello. It is amazing. Yeah, it is. Use the power of your word to offer love. Never use it to cause fear or pain in another or yourself. Be impeccable with your words. In many cultures, in many religions, they tell you your words have power. They tell you that there is life and death in your words. So you could actually be speaking a word over something, right? So you have to be careful with what you put out in the universe, because when you speak it, you put it out in the universe. Once you say it, it's out in the universe. When you think it, that's a within thing, right? Only you know that you're thinking it. No one else knows. But once it leaves your mouth, once it's said, it's out there, right? And even if no person has heard you, the universe heard you. So you've put it out there. So if you be impeccable with your words, right? If you speak positive and not negative, this is what you're putting. This is the energy then that you're calling to yourself. You would be calling positive energy to yourself. You have to tell, you have to encourage yourself, right? Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Those are positive reinforcements that you give yourself when you encourage yourself. So when we're impeccable with our words, you ever heard, it's a Bible scripture, but a lot of people use it as a saying, right? When you dig one ditch, dig two, because the ditch you dug, you may have dug for you. Well, that's the same thing with your words. Sometimes we can speak a word, we can say something, and we could be being negative over someone else, right? And karma, bring it back to us and catch us with it, or even to the point of being dishonest. You ever known people to lie and say, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to do a certain thing because I don't feel good, right? But it's not that they sick. Say you guys were supposed to go out together, go do something, right? Shopping, lunch, whatever. And the person don't want to go anymore, like they agreed to go and they don't want to go anymore, and so they'll say, oh, I can't go because I don't feel good, right? And then sometimes they turn out to really get sick. So that I equate being impeccable with your word to that, right? Be careful. Be careful what you say. Things have a way of coming back to you. Even your words. I know, we believe that a lot of our actions, the things that we do, can turn around and come back to us. I know we tend to believe that. We tend to feel like that. But also, things that you say can turn around and come back to you. So if you are mindful, a good way also to be impeccable with your words is really to think before you speak. It's important. If you think before you speak, a lot of the times we wouldn't say some of the things that we say so sometimes you can say something, but the way you say it, or even your word choice, or in the timing that you say it, will change the entire meaning of what you're saying. And sometimes the change of the removal of a word or just adding a word, that alone in itself could change an entire sentence. Just by either adding a word or removing a word or changing a word. So if we think before we speak, then we would do exactly that. Rise in affliction is huge in communication. Yes, absolutely. We become, and then you become also aware. You become aware because sometimes during heightened emotions, whichever way it is, good or bad, during times of heightened emotions, you can say things. You can say things, right? And you could wish you could take them, wish I could take those words back. But you can't, right? You can't. And a lot of people like to think sometimes when you think something, it's just as bad as saying it, but it's not, because you're not putting it in the universe, right? So if you think first before you say something and you switch it up based on thinking about it first, that's not bad. It's okay to do that. It's actually pretty smart. It's pretty smart to do it, because if you really think about it, when your emotions are running really high, you'll say some really bad things, or you'll get emotional and even commit to some things that you may, not really want to commit to, but you're in an emotional state, right? I used to be a pastor. And what I noticed about pastors, and it was one of the things that I promised to never do, the charismatic part of them, they get you heightened, and that's when the hey, I'm good, and that's when the offering plates would come around, right? You get heightened, you get in a heightened sense, whether they tell you the spirit is moving, whatever it is, or you're crying. That's the best time, right, to send the offering plates around. Hey, how you doing? So it's a manipulation. It is, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, I'm good. I don't want to do this, because it is a manipulation, and pastors are not. It is. Is it you or me? Because it could be me. Pastors are not the only ones. So yeah, it might really be me. Since, am I being reported, or? Because I don't know how or why y'all would want to be reporting me right now. So pastors are not the only ones who, utilize those types of manipulation tactics based on your emotional state, right? They'll do that to you based on your emotional state. Politicians will utilize your emotional state. Not you. I don't think you're reporting me. Politicians will utilize your emotional state. Your loved ones will utilize your emotional state. And sometimes it's done subconsciously, right? They're not setting out to use you or do you any harm sometimes. But it's done consciously as well. And I even say to those things, they are just as bad, because you put those words out there like that. And even though you're using them as a manipulation tactic, it'll come back to you. I believe it will. It really will come back to you. So if we practice being positive in our words, in our actions, then not only do it become like second nature, it becomes a part of you, right? It's not just you start off by saying it, telling yourself to do it, right? So you're teaching yourself when you're practicing, but then you start to believe it and you put it into work and do it, right? And so then it becomes just, that's what you do. I no longer have to tell myself in the morning to speak words of affirmation to myself. I know to do it now, right? I trained myself to speak words of affirmation. I don't know if you guys ever looked at any of my old content, but some of the very first things that I did on TikTok was get up every morning. Hey, I'm good, thank you. Was get up every morning and I would look in the mirror and I would talk to myself. I would speak words of affirmation, encouragement to myself. But I used to have to remind myself to do that, right? I got to a point where I no longer had to remind myself to do it. It became second nature. It was automatic, right? And that's what it was. So let's get to don't take